little transfer update for you today with a few bits and pieces. I've just done an update over on Patreon. Actually, I'm going to defend myself a little bit on that. I've been accused of basically stealing my own exclusive, which is quite impossible. The Andre Silva rumour I put up on Patreon on Sunday night. I even did a video on it on Monday morning. So a couple of people, like, you know, just in comments and that, have accused me of nicking it off somebody else. I couldn't have nicked it yesterday because I did a video about it Monday and I reported it on Patreon update on Sunday. A really, really good source as well. But I was not saying we're definitely going to sign him. He is a backup option. He is absolutely a backup option for us. And there's a few people saying, oh, you know, reading between the lines, he's being left out the Leipzig team. He's not really been playing too much for the Leipzig team, truth be known on that. I have had a few more snippets of information today, which I'm going to share with you now. But I have just done an update over on Patreon, Hammer Chat Patreon, with the links in the description below for that. We've got a 7-day trial if you want to go and check that out. Okay, let's start off with the striker stuff. As my understanding, West Ham have made a late. We've actually made a bid. We've shown late interest in a striker. This is apparently a top striker. Arsenal are in the front running for it. I've had a little chat with Gio about it this morning, and we've been sort of trying to work out who it is, and we think it might either be a Vlahovic or Sesko. Arsenal are the front runners for this striker at the moment, but he's been offered to West Ham, and apparently was offered to West Ham back in the summer as well. As I mentioned a few days ago, I had it confirmed not by the club at all, but by somebody else, that West Ham did make a bid of £40 million for John Duran. So what is weird is I have spoken with the club on a couple of occasions, almost on a daily basis, and they've said we're really up against it on FFP, but there's no doubt about it. There's definitely some money there for the right signing. Now, I don't know whether that's going to be ratcheted over and sort of spread over in the same way that we would make the Todibo deal, but money is there for the right striker. There's been so many names, and I did mention the name of Callum Wilson to somebody today, and they laughed. So I don't know what that means. I'm guessing it means no. I had some contact with somebody at the club a couple of days ago. I think I mentioned this to you on a separate video for Awonyi from Nottingham Forest. Again, that they've got good dialogue with Nottingham Forest because obviously we've done the deal for James Ward-Prowse. Some people suggesting that West Ham would have to take Ward-Prowse in order for us to get Awonyi. Again, that's been completely refuted. So I think the deal is there for Awonyi. Nottingham Forest want a permanent deal. We'd rather have a loan, and there is I'll tell you this now, direct quote from the club. They turned around and said we're worried about his injury record, so we're not too keen to pay a transfer fee. So yeah, that's that. We're definitely on the lookout for a striker, because I had it on a really, really good authority from an agent today that West Ham have been, you know, making inquiries and just trying to, even as recently as this morning, trying to line up a striker. So that much is very, very clear on that. But as I say, this Andre Silva, he has been identified, as I mentioned in my update, by Maximilian Hans. You remember this guy? This was the data analyst that was brought in by. Well, I thought at the time he was brought in by Tim Stight, and I guess he was. Got no reason to disbelieve that. But the club are really leaning on him at the moment, and apparently he's having quite a big say in some of the targets that we're looking after. So I guess we can praise him if it works out and blame him if it doesn't. I can't remember the name of the scout that brought in. Gio knows. I can't remember the name of the scout that brought in Thomas Souček during that window. That's not turned out too bad, has it? When we got him on loan and paid, I think we paid in total, including the loan fee, 17 million. I think we might have paid a 4 million loan fee and then 13 million or something like that. But he's turned out pretty good. Any Souček, there's no doubt about that at all. We're so impressed with his. I know I said it in the video last night. So impressed with his finish. Just think he's just brilliant. 32 Premier League goals for Souček now. By the way, we've also had some other news, which is. Some of this stuff is moving so fast. I'm in one of those situations and I think I'll put this video out and something will change. I've got to do this because there's just so much news. I actually quite wanted to talk about Aaron Wan-Bissaka again today, but there you go. We did that in our player ratings this morning over on Patreon. But Maxwell Cornet, the club have confirmed, this bit is from the club. The club have confirmed that they will be looking to try and get him out at a club to try and get him playing some minutes. Because obviously he's a wasted investment at the moment. We paid £17 million for him. At the moment, he's worth zero. Southampton want to send him back because you can only have 2 domestic loans, and he's obviously classed as a domestic loan. West Ham have got no interest. That's what they said. They've got no interest in having him in the first team squad here. They want to get him out and get his value back up. They want to get him playing as well. Again, it would appear that Potter, apparently, according to the club, is... I don't truly believe this, by the way, but I'm going to say it anyway. He's not in a massive hurry, and he's happy to work with what he's got. And I've got to say, I'm already seeing improvements in the players, as I know you are too. So I think, don't get me wrong, do I think he can get more out of Danny Ings? Do I think he can get more out of Edson Alvarez or Rodriguez or pick whichever player you want? I do. But I don't believe he's saying to Karen Brady, don't worry about it. I don't need anyone else. I'm happy with what I got. No, I think I'm pretty sure that when Potter joined West Ham, part of the agreement would have been that some players come in. Why would you negotiate and haggle so hard over the length of term of the contract and your wage, but not as part of the proceedings sort of haggle over how many players can come in? And we were told, it's funny because the story's changed, we were very much told at the time that the 48 hours pretty much solid that Potter and West Ham were negotiating for, not all of that was wages and term. Some of that was identifying January transfer targets. So it's hard to go and change the narrative on that now. Before I go any further, I just want to point in a direction one last lovely time in the direction of today's video sponsor, Match Bingo. Look, Match Bingo have been absolutely great. I've got to say, they've been one of the best sponsors we've ever had in terms of value for money. For you guys, basically, there's so many. We stopped, to be honest with you, we stopped counting at about 100, and that was last season. 100 winners of won. People watching this, we were over 150 now. That's probably why they're bidding us off. So many of you guys watching this won money on Match Bingo, and look, just because they're not going to be sponsoring us anymore doesn't mean that the app is any less noteworthy. It's a brilliant app. If you've already downloaded it, go and check your account today. You may well find you've got some funds in there. It's only £2 a card to play a game, which I think is one of the best things about it. We've always been a little bit dubious about doing these sort of things, but it's been really, really good. It's basically a bingo game, but instead of numbers, you've got events that happen in a football match. I've even won myself on it, which was a little bit embarrassing, bearing in mind we're doing the stuff. I think Charlie was doing a watch-along last season, and I won. I genuinely did. I bought 2 cards. I spent £4 and I won £50. So hey, I was really happy with it. Look, the link's in the description below. Great bunch of guys, proper company. Local company as well. Match Bingo, links in the description below. Okay, so Maxwell Cornet, we've dealt with that one. There is obviously you may well have heard this, that Jarrod Bowen is well ahead of schedule in terms of his return, but I don't think that means that West Ham are going to do nothing in this transfer window at all. I think this is really, really key. In fact, we've almost heard that everyone is ahead of schedule apart from Nicholas Füllkrug, and that is, it is a name that's sort of going to be, I don't mean forgotten, but it is going to, if Potter keeps working his magic and doing, there you go, that one again, doing what he's doing, if West Ham, and he keeps getting the best out of players and players come back and we sign players, he's just not going to be on the tip of everybody's tongue. He's really not Füllkrug. So anyway, it's just one of those things that's, a little bit of a shame. I suspect the club, well, I don't suspect this, the club have told me directly that they are still looking to get lesser players out the door. I don't just think that means Cornet, but they won't mention any names, and I wouldn't expect them to. What I would have expected was that one of those names would have been Danny Ings, but you know what? I know he was crap against Aston Villa, if I'm honest. I thought he did a really, really good stint last night, and not just because he closed down the goalkeeper, which created Lucas Paqueta's goal. There were times when he was running back in midfield and trying to close down. He won a really good tackle in midfield as well. Would he, would he be Potter's first choice? No, but I'm looking at him thinking, Potter's probably thinking, I quite appreciate someone that's going to work their arse off. And I think they all did, by the way. I thought all the players worked really, really hard. They've all bought into, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, they've all bought into this team ethic. Look, amazing. We look far more of a team now than we ever did at any period under Lopetegui. But I do wonder if Ings, whose contract runs out at the end of the season, I do wonder if he's thinking, well, actually, do you know what? I might stick around for the last 6 months of his contracts and might well get some game time at West Ham. At midfield, Dewsbury Hall, that's really, really interesting. Again, I don't know. I've not heard nothing. The club are not going to confirm any targets on that, but there is apparently meant to be genuine interest from our side. Chelsea are not gonna let him go on a cheap. They've only just bought him. I think it was 30 odd million or something like that. And I think the fans are a little bit knobbed off that they've excuse me language, that they got rid of Conor Gallagher and they've got this guy. It does seem to be when a lot of times I do these videos, I always find it interesting to go on to like another team's forums or other teams like Facebook page and stuff like that. And that does a bit awkward, that one forum certainly. But yeah, as things stand at the moment, I'm going to do that thing again. I'm going to check my phone because I tell you what, I don't want to have to re-record this bloody video just to see if anything's happened here. Oh, sorry, I gotta say this. Batshuayi, right? Nobody has told me Batshuayi, right? Nobody has told me that we will, but we surely can't. We can't. I wish I'd have said when I spoke to someone earlier and I said about Callum Wilson, and they laughed. They just laughed at me. They didn't just laugh. They laughed and said, "Why?" And it's not like they were saying, why would West Ham do that? They were laughing. I would suggest that we would sign him. So I'm guessing we're not. That's what I took it to mean. I wonder if they'd have laughed at Batshuayi as well. I think what I'll finish on with him is, do you remember the number of times we almost signed him? And he didn't want to come. He was never interested. And I don't know, like as a West Ham fan, I don't want to cut off my nose to spite my face. But I just think, you know what, you turned us down when you were good, if you like, when you were in demand. And now you're at the end of your career. He's not scoring for Galatasaray. Well, at least he wasn't at the point where I checked yesterday. He's not their top guy anymore. So, you're basically, you're at the end of your career, you're nowhere near as good as you used to be. Oh, now you'll come to West Ham, will you? Okay, very interesting. Oh, I'm not sure. Are we really that desperate? I don't know. I guess the answer to that is yes, we are. We were decimated. Our forward line is decimated. And I absolutely get it. And I want us to sign a player. And, if we were going to sign Vlahovic or Sesko or any one of these guys that we were talking about earlier, I would say yes. That would be a good thing. If you're going to start signing players, particularly we've got Jared Bowen coming back. Hopefully Somerville's ready for the next game. If you're going to start signing players, I don't know. Is Batshuayi better than Danny Ings? I don't know. I know he was good. But so was Danny Ings. Danny Ings used to be good. I honestly don't know. Just because I can't remember what I've said and what I haven't said. This Andre Silva, little bits of speculation that he's been left out of the RB Leipzig thing. I think I did say it earlier in the video. But he's not been featuring much for him anyway, which is why he's sort of out on it. But looking back on him, he's played 50 odd times for Portugal, as I mentioned the other day. But he only seems to have had one really prolific season, which was at Frankfurt, but he's played for AC Milan and stuff like that. Would he have got a start yesterday? Yes, I think he would. But he is a journeyman. He's played for a lot of clubs. 29-year-old journeyman. Moved for big money in his day. Moved for £30 odd million, and he went for 23 million. I think he went from Frankfurt to Leipzig. So, but I just find it, it's really interesting when you're looking at Sesko there. And go to Sesko, go to Leipzig and get a striker and come away with. It's like that scene from Snatch that I said the other day. Hold on a second. It was us that wanted a caravan. Anyway, there you go. I'll leave it there. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to have to leave it for another day to do my loving with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I'm really happy with Potter. It's just incredible how he's lifted everybody's spirits. But look, hey, another video for another day.